Thought you might be interested in some of the CNC stuff that we do here at the shop. It's going to be a quick tour. I'll be doing some more of these in the future, but these are for two particular jobs we're doing. One is an Eddie V's. I'll show you a bar top and how the CNC works it out. And the other one is how we got one of our CNCs to replicate some little carvings that had to match a restaurant that we did that is on the, what do they call that, the list where you got to keep a historical list or whatever. These would be over 100 years old. But let me walk you down here and I'll kind of show you what we're doing. Okay, these are parts as they would come off of the router. Most of our stuff's written in G code, but you take these components, they're absolutely perfect, along with the drawing, and you would give it to the cabinet maker, and he would go ahead and manufacture from the drawings that he had. But what we've got here is, this is for an Eddie V, and this is walnut. This is how we glued it up. And the reason it's glued up in kind of this funky looking view is because the way it's getting cut out, it's on a radius. So to not waste and stuff, and you can see we have little joints here. They didn't want too much of this white sapwood in there. So what we've done is we've got these all glued up, sanded through the sanding machine, and this will be one end of the bar top. Those are components there cut out as they would be. What we're doing here is we're gluing one of these down, or screwing one of these down, and I'll come back to this and I'll show you how the router will be cutting these walnut pieces out. There's some other pieces for it. This is part for the cabinet that goes behind it, creates kind of a waitress stationery look. But one of the most fascinating things I think that we're doing is, and this took a lot of work, is we had to get the codes from the manufacturer. And what we had to do is we had to match some stuff. So we had to make about 100 of these, and they had to match. So you can see there's a process that you go through of learning, where you have one where you ran this and there was some errors made in it, and there were some errors made in that one. And then you ultimately end up with this. And we're going to save in all these that we have to make about 50 grand by not buying them. So we're manufacturing these ourselves. But that is an exact duplication of the moldings that are going on this job. Now what we're running over here is just these little pieces, and you can see the router doing its thing. A little bit down in there, go back and forth and back and forth. This is a vacuum table that holds it down. And you can see how it's manufacturing those. And again, to buy those would be a fortune, but they have to be dead on. So these are ones that have already been run. These are done, sort of. And you can see how many there are. There's a bunch of them. And you can see the profile. So what we do is we go from behind. And you can see there's just really thin right in there. And we can just take a little bit by hand and just cut all those out real quick and end up with these little moldings. And then what we will do is we'll lightly sandblast them, and that will take all the burrings and all that stuff off. But I thought that was really cool. But I think they wanted to charge us, again, remember these were custom, so all the codes had to be written. These weren't out of a catalog. I think each one of these worked out, it would cost roughly $20 a piece. And like I say, we're making these, and we're making a ton of money by not being able to do that. But you can see it's a process. You start with this, and there's errors in there. And then you go back and you check your codes that you wrote, and then you check your codes that you wrote, and you can see, for instance, this one right here is deeper in the middle. There were some errors. This would have been the next step up after they had corrected some of the code, where this is now smooth. Actually, that's, believe it or not, that's on a slight radius, and you can kind of see what's going on there. But I want to get you over here. What else? I don't think there's anything else really going on here. This is just the staging area for some of the casework and stuff that's going to have to be going out. This is just a small part of the shop. the main part of the shop. We are busy. Is over here with all the milling equipment and all the fabrication that goes on over here. See that radius unit there being made. This is about as high-tech of millwork that you can probably get. We started this company 34 years ago, and it's still cooking. And these are our finishing facilities. We do a lot of finishing, so we have to have a lot of room. So we have this stuff that's been finished. This stuff's getting ready to finish. Hey Harry, but like I say, that's just that I'm trying to stall a little bit so I can get over here to see this one machine that's going to run this top after we've taken and glued it up and made it ready. So here you can see it. It's getting ready to start running this thing. It's on. And there it goes. Sawdust kicking up. You can see that one just made 2 cuts right there. Now it's down there, cutting down the end, it's coming back. See how it rolls on that right there. Kind of show what it's doing. Now I'm cutting that piece up there. Coming on down there. Again, all that has to be written in code. I don't know how to do it, but it looks really good. And then here's one that's already been cut. Come out, and you can see these holes were put on by a machine. That will screw down into the countertop. Then there'll be a metal scupper, the drink side, bar side, where the bartender works. And then over here, there'll be some moldings made. And this will be the outside of the bar. But that's all walnut, it's all staggered. And we had to hand select it. We'll be putting an extremely high-tech finish on there. And we'll be putting biscuits or lamellos or whatever you want to call them in the ends so that it'll all fit together. And then it'll be glued to a subtop. And it'll go out in one piece and so forth and so on. But I just thought you might get a kick out of seeing those routers. They do a heck of a friggin' job. But this is how you do when you go into a Disney casino, anything, and you wonder, where does this friggin' stuff come from? Well, this is where it comes from. And I'll do one later in a month or so when these things are all done, and you'll be able to get a bead on them. But it's just fascinating how we can stand here, and that one's running something over there. This one's running something over here, and they just keep going. These guys know how to run these friggin' things. I don't have a clue. I'm from the age of table saws and all that stuff. But that's our edge bander over there. And that alone has 18 motors in it. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll put some more of these on here if I get some more, get some responses. But like I said, I'd also like to show some of the finished stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.